This is one of the only trade setups you'll need in 2025. Look, a lot of people will try to overcomplicate trading when it really doesn't need to be. You can do extremely well with simple setups. So don't underestimate the power of this setup and click away because it appears simple on the surface level. I'll be going into a lot more detail as the video goes on. This is just going to be structured in a way so it's easy to follow along. Let's just start with this. Let's start with pattern recognition. What do we actually want to look for? We want to look for price action that looks like this. Any time frame will work. I prefer the hourly or H4 chart, but really what I'm looking for is a few hours of sideways price action. The longer that price goes sideways for, the better, but there really doesn't need to be any minimum or maximum amount of sideways price action to look for. Anything will work. All right, so we've identified our consolidation period. Now what? Well, we want to wait for price to pop out of the consolidation period. So it looks something like this. We want the hourly or H4 candle to close above the consolidation period, which is this. And when this happens, we'll be setting bids at the top of the consolidation period right here. But it's very, very important to wait for the H1 or H4 candle close above the consolidation period. You really have to stick with me here. I feel like I'm losing you already based on how simple this looks, but please just trust the process. Easy is good and easy prints money. Also, by the way, while we're here, 85% of you who will view this video are not subscribed, which is absolutely insane. So if you could just click the subscribe button and feed my dopamine, that would be amazing. Thank you so much. Here's the thought process I go through when I approach a consolidation period. I'm thinking about each side, the bulls and the bears, fighting to break out of the consolidation period. Whoever wins that battle will be able to squeeze the other out of their positions, which is giving them the liquidity to move the price higher. Yes, I know, like, it really is a little bit cringe to think of trading in that way, but I really think it's beneficial to be able to visualize both sides fighting for it, one side winning, and then that side squeezing the losing side out of their positions, thus increasing price rapidly. Okay, so price has closed above the consolidation period. We have our bid set at the top of the consolidation period. Now what? Well, again, the thought process is this is the last ditch effort for bears to step in and regain control. So in the event that happens, I have my bid set at the top of the consolidation period. And if things are as aggressive as the argument says there are, you should be able to fill your bids here and price bounces away from this level. So with every trade argument, we need now an invalidation point. We need to keep our risk management in check always. So the invalidation point for a consolidation retest setup like this is below the consolidation period. Because again, let's refer back to the thought process where the bulls have won this battle. So we, the bulls, do not want to see price close back below this entire consolidation period, right? Because they worked so hard to actually break out of this consolidation period, it would be seen as a loss of the entire bullish argument if the bulls lost this retest here and they were unable to hold a retest before falling below the consolidation period. So the invalidation point for this long setup is going to be the consolidation period lows right here. This is the setup. This is the pattern. Now let's go into some more real world examples and see it actually happening on the charts. Before I highlight the pattern, do you see it anywhere here? It's perfectly fine if you don't. The more that you recognize and you're aware of the pattern, you'll see it absolutely everywhere. The pattern is actually right here. So consolidation period for a few hours on the H1 or H4 chart, an hourly or H4 candle closing above the entire consolidation period, bids set, bids filled on the retest at the top of the consolidation point, invalidation point below the consolidation period. Now that you're aware of this pattern, you're going to see it absolutely everywhere. Truly, you see it everywhere. And it doesn't need to only be on the long side. You could look at this consolidation period on the short side as well. But obviously, consolidation period, H1 close below the entire consolidation point, invalidation above, just everything we talked about, but just flipped, right? This works for both longs and shorts. Very quickly, I have hundreds of hours of educational content on setups like this, other setups, other patterns that you can look out for. I also have full trade reviews where I go through the setup I'm taking, why I'm taking it, the invalidation point, the take profits, and really everything that has to do with my system. I'll leave the link to that in the description below. The pattern itself is great and extremely powerful, but what we want to do is make it seriously as strong as possible. And the way we do that is adding layers of Confluence onto the original trade argument. So our original trade argument is this pattern, right? A consolidation break from this pattern. To add more confluence, let's zoom out a little bit and see where this consolidation break is happening. On the break, are we reclaiming a key H1 or H4 level? If yes, this is a higher confidence setup. Again, if we're reclaiming any kind of key level on the H1, H4, even the daily time frame, any significant key level, this is a higher hit rate trade setup. Let's do another real world example here. I'm on the H4 chart. Do you see the consolidation pattern anywhere here? It's right here. The consolidation period, the break of the consolidation period. What's a little bit different is it took a few hours to actually get the retest, but the retest did happen on the H4. Bid set at the top of the consolidation period. Obviously, it dipped within the consolidation period, but again, because price did not close below the consolidation period, this argument is still valid. Okay, but here's the exact pattern. Let's break it down to the H1 and look at it a bit deeper. We're on now this exact consolidation period that I just spoke about, but we're on the H1 time frame. It's a little bit more difficult to see, but it is here, right where it's circled. Of course, here's the retest happening. Now, of course, in the situation that I've been discussing, your bids would be on this retest here. It may be a little bit uncomfortable to be underwater for a few hours within here, but again, I just want to say the exact same thing. Because price did not close below the consolidation period lows, this trade setup is still valid. But what's really important about this setup is we have Confluence. Confluence is king. Let's take a look at the Confluence. We've completed step one, which is identify a consolidation period that we would like to take a trade based on. Okay, and that's the highlighted area that we've been discussing right here. Now what we want to do is look for Confluence for our position. So what that does is allows us to maybe increase risk just a little bit, and really what it mostly does is make us feel better emotionally about the trade. It's a lot easier to take positions that have several layers of Confluence. So the level that I've identified here is the H4 level that price broke out from right here. So just before I get too deep into it, this is also an H4 consolidation period, and this is also an H4 consolidation period retest. So obviously this is over a large amount of time here, but the retest still did happen here. So that could have been another trade opportunity. But the Confluence level that we have here is this H4 breakout point. If we extend this to the right, we have to see if this is going to add any support to our consolidation argument, which is right here. So we do have that support. So in addition to the consolidation period above here, we have our invalidation period below the consolidation period, which is confluent with a massive H4 level right here. Really, the best thing you can do now is get into the charts and look for this pattern. Backtest this pattern, see how you can approach it, look for the different layers of confluence, and add this pattern to one that you're always looking for. You are going to see it absolutely everywhere. So I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, leave it down below, and I will do my best to answer everything I possibly can for you. Thank you.